Good morning. I want to remind you today that your life is not an accident. You are here for a purpose, and God has placed greatness inside of you. But too often we get distracted looking at what others are doing, comparing ourselves, worrying about things that don't matter. It's time to shift your focus back to what God has called you to do. You see, the enemy would love nothing more than to keep you occupied with distractions, doubts, and delays. But when you stay focused on your path and your purpose, you unlock doors that no man can shut. Maybe you've been waiting for a breakthrough, praying for change, but it seems like nothing is happening. Don't let that discourage you. Stay faithful, keep growing, keep believing. What God has promised will come to pass, but you have to stay focused. Think about an eagle. It doesn't waste its energy chasing every little bird that flies by. No, it soars high, keeping its eyes on its destination. In the same way, you can't afford to chase distractions. You weren't created to live in frustration, comparison, or fear. You were created to rise higher. God has already equipped you with everything you need to succeed. The talents, the wisdom, the right connections, they're already inside of you. But you have to make a decision. Will you stay focused on your purpose, or will you let the distractions of life pull you away? I want to encourage you today. Stop looking at what you don't have. Stop worrying about what others are doing, and stop letting the past hold you back. Your best days are ahead. Keep your eyes on God, stay faithful, and watch how He takes you places you never dreamed of. Good morning. I want to remind you today that your life is not an accident. You are not here by mistake. You didn't just show up on this earth randomly. No, you were created by a loving God with a specific purpose, a divine assignment. You are here on purpose, for a purpose. Too many times we go through life feeling ordinary, like we don't really matter. We look at others who seem more talented, more successful, more blessed, and we start to feel like we don't measure up. But let me tell you, God does not create anything without value. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made, handcrafted by the Creator of the universe Himself, and He did not make a mistake when He made you. Before you were even born, before your parents ever thought about you, God had a plan for your life. He knew exactly where you would be, what you would face, and the challenges you would overcome. Nothing in your life is a surprise to Him. He has already equipped you with everything you need to fulfill your destiny. The talents, the strength, the wisdom, the right opportunities, they are already placed inside of you. You may not see them yet, but that doesn't mean they're not there. But here's the key. You have to believe it. You have to start seeing yourself the way God sees you. You are not weak. You are strong. You are not average. You are exceptional. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. But as long as you live with a mindset of doubt, fear, or insecurity, you will never step into the fullness of what God has planned for you. Think about a seed. A tiny seed might not look like much, but inside of it is the potential for a giant tree. Inside that little seed is fruit, shade, beauty, and life. But that seed has to be planted, nurtured, and given time to grow. The same is true for you. There's greatness inside of you, but it needs to be nurtured. It needs to be fed with the right thoughts, the right faith, and the right focus. One of the greatest tricks of the enemy is to distract you from your purpose. He wants to keep you so busy looking at what others are doing, worrying about what you don't have, or regretting past mistakes that you never step into the amazing future God has for you. That's why you have to make a decision. I will not be distracted. I will not let fear, insecurity, or doubt keep me from fulfilling my calling. I will stay focused on my life, my purpose, and my God-given destiny. When you understand that you are here for a purpose, you stop living life just going through the motions. You stop settling for less. You stop letting circumstances define you. Instead, you rise up with confidence, knowing that your life has meaning, your days are ordered by God, and your best days are still ahead of you. So today, I want to challenge you. Start believing in your purpose. Start seeing yourself the way God sees you. Quit living in fear, doubt, and comparison, and start walking boldly in the destiny God has placed before you. Because when you focus on your life, your calling, and your God-given purpose, nothing can stop you from becoming everything you were created to be. Now go out there and live the life you were meant to live. One of the greatest challenges in life is staying focused on what truly matters. Every day there are countless things fighting for your attention, negative voices, past mistakes, other people's opinions, and even your own doubts. If you're not careful, these distractions can pull you away from your purpose, slow down your progress, and delay the incredible destiny God has prepared for you. Think about it. You have only so much energy, so much time, so much focus. If you're constantly pouring your energy into things that don't matter, you won't have the strength to pursue the things that do. The enemy knows he can't take away your purpose, so instead he works to distract you. He wants to keep you so preoccupied with things that don't align with your destiny that you never step fully into the life God has for you. Some people get distracted by comparison. They're always looking at what others are doing, measuring their success against someone else's achievements. They scroll through social media, feeling like they don't measure up. But let me tell you, your journey is unique. Your story is different from anyone else's. What God has for you is for you. And when you waste time comparing, you lose focus on what He is trying to do in your life. Others get distracted by the past. They dwell on old mistakes, missed opportunities, and things they can't change. But living in the past will only rob you of your future. You can't move forward if you're always looking backward. God has new doors for you to walk through, new blessings, new opportunities, but you have to let go of the old to step into the new. Some people get distracted by negative voices. Maybe someone told you that you're not talented enough, smart enough, or good enough. And now, instead of moving forward with confidence, you're stuck in fear and self-doubt. But let me remind you, other people don't determine your destiny, God does. Their words don't define you. You are not what they said about you. You are who God says you are. And He says you are chosen, equipped, and more than enough. Then there are distractions that seem harmless things like worry, busyness, and small battles that don't deserve your attention. Sometimes we spend too much time trying to prove ourselves to people who don't even matter in the long run. We fight battles that God never intended for us to fight. We waste time worrying about things that are out of our control instead of trusting God to work it out. Imagine an Olympic runner in the middle of a race. What if halfway through they stopped running because they got distracted by the cheering crowd? What if they started looking at another runner instead of keeping their eyes on the finish line? They would lose momentum. They might even lose the race. The same is true for you. When you take your focus off your purpose, you slow down your progress. You were meant to run your race with endurance, but distractions can cause you to stop, delay, or even give up before you reach the finish line. That's why you have to be intentional about what you give your attention to. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every argument is worth engaging in. Not every opinion is worth listening to. Not every opportunity is meant for you. You have to learn to say, I'm not going to let that steal my focus. I'm not going to let that delay my destiny. I'm staying on track. The Bible says, set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2. That means keeping your focus on what truly matters in your faith, your purpose, and the path God has placed before you. When you learn to let go of distractions and keep your eyes on your calling, you will see doors open, opportunities come, and blessings overflow in your life. So today, I challenge you, take inventory of your distractions. What's stealing your focus? What's slowing you down? Make the decision to let it go, to stop giving your time and energy to things that don't align with your purpose. Because when you remove distractions, you make room for God to move in your life. And when you stay focused, when you keep running your race, nothing can stop you from reaching the incredible destiny that's waiting for you. In a world that often promotes instant results and shortcuts to success, it can be easy to forget the value of faithfulness. We live in a society where everyone seems to want quick wins, instant gratification, and the fast track to their dreams. But here's the truth. True fulfillment doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from being faithful, even when the journey is long and difficult. Faithfulness is not about doing what's easy. It's about doing what's right, even when no one is watching. It's about being committed to your calling, to your goals, and to your faith, even when you don't see immediate results. Faithfulness is the quiet strength that keeps you going when the road gets tough, when the obstacles seem insurmountable, and when you feel like giving up. It's easy to be faithful when everything is going well. It's easy to show up, give your best, and be excited about what you're doing when you see immediate rewards. But the true test of faithfulness comes when the blessings don't seem to come, when the effort feels like it's not paying off, and when you start to question whether it's all worth it. That's when faithfulness really matters. It's in the long stretches of the journey, when things seem uncertain, that faithfulness is the key that unlocks your future. Think about the story of Joseph. God gave him a dream of greatness, but his journey wasn't easy. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused and thrown into prison. Yet through it all, Joseph remained faithful. He didn't give up on his dream. He didn't allow the setbacks and the unfairness of life to cause him to lose his integrity or his faith. In the end, his faithfulness led him to the fulfillment of his dream. He became second in command in all of Egypt, and he saved not only his family, but an entire nation. Joseph's story reminds us that faithfulness often comes before fulfillment. It's easy to see someone who has made it and think that they got there overnight. But the truth is, they've likely faced struggles, made sacrifices, and remained faithful to their purpose when it would have been easier to walk away. When you are faithful in the small things, God will open doors for you in the big things. It's in the daily choices, the little acts of consistency, the moments when you show up, even when you don't feel like it, that you build a foundation for future success. Faithfulness builds character, and character is what will sustain you when you step into your calling. Sometimes we look at where we are and think that we're not making progress. We might feel like the work we're putting in is not being noticed or that our efforts are not amounting to anything. But God sees every act of faithfulness, even the ones that no one else notices. He sees the quiet sacrifices, the long hours, the prayers that are whispered in secret. And in His perfect timing, He will reward your faithfulness. The Bible tells us, do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. Galatians 6-9. That promise is true for you. Even when the rewards aren't immediate, keep being faithful. Keep showing up. Keep doing what's right, even when it's hard, because faithfulness is the path that leads to fulfillment. You may be wondering, when will my time come? The answer is that your time is coming. God has a plan for you, and He is preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine, but you have to trust the process. Trust that every moment of faithfulness is building something powerful within you. Trust that every step of the journey is leading you to a greater purpose, a greater impact, and a greater destiny. When you stay faithful, even when things don't make sense, you position yourself for God's best. He sees your heart, He knows your struggles, and He will fulfill the desires He's placed inside of you. True fulfillment comes not from reaching the destination, but from being faithful to the process along the way. So today, I want to encourage you, stay faithful. Stay faithful to your relationships, to your work, to your dreams, and to your faith. It may not always be easy, but remember that God rewards faithfulness. He will never leave you, never forsake you, and He will fulfill His promises in your life in ways you never imagined. Keep going, keep trusting, and keep being faithful, because your fulfillment is just around the corner, and it will be greater than you ever dreamed. There's a reason why the eagle is often used as a symbol of strength, vision, and purpose. Eagles don't live like other birds. They don't scavenge on the ground, picking at leftovers. They don't flutter around in fear, reacting to every little thing. Eagles soar. They rise high above the storm. They keep their eyes on the prize, and they move with confidence and power. You were created to be like an eagle, not to live in fear, not to be weighed down by distractions, but to rise above the challenges of life and step into your destiny. You weren't made to live in mediocrity. You were designed to soar. Eagles rise above the storm. When a storm comes, most birds seek shelter. They hide, they scatter, they wait in fear, but not the eagle. The eagle does something incredible. It uses the storm to its advantage. It spreads its wings and allows the wind to lift it higher. What was meant to destroy it actually becomes the very thing that elevates it. That's how God wants you to live. Challenges will come. Storms will try to shake you. You may face setbacks, disappointments, and moments of uncertainty. But instead of being afraid, instead of running and hiding, you can choose to rise above. You can decide, I'm not going to let this storm defeat me. I'm going to use it to take me higher. Every difficulty you face has the potential to strengthen you. Every obstacle is an opportunity for growth. The very things that seem like they're working against you can actually work for you if you have the right mindset. The storm isn't there to destroy you. It's there to lift you to a new level. An eagle can see a small target from miles away. It doesn't get distracted by everything else happening around it. It stays locked in on its goal. That's how you have to be in life. If you want to soar, you have to develop the ability to focus. Too many people waste time worrying about what others are doing. They get caught up in comparison and negativity, in small distractions that don't even matter. But when you have a vision for your life, when you know your purpose, you don't have time for distractions. You don't have time for doubt, for fear, or for negativity. Keep your eyes on your purpose. Keep your heart focused on where God is leading you. When you develop the vision of an eagle, you stop worrying about the little things that used to hold you back. You stop reacting to every opinion, every criticism, every challenge. Instead, you stay locked in on where you're going, trusting that God is guiding your path. Eagles fly alone. You'll never see an eagle flying with a flock of pigeons. Eagles don't waste their time with birds that can't go where they're going. They fly high, they move with purpose, and they surround themselves with strength. If you want to soar, you have to be careful about who you surround yourself with. Not everyone can go where you're going. Some people will try to hold you back to keep you at their level because they're afraid of your potential, but you can't let the wrong people keep you grounded. Sometimes in order to rise higher, you have to let go of relationships that are pulling you down. You have to distance yourself from negativity, from drama, from people who don't support your dreams. Not everyone is meant to go with you to the next level, and that's okay. God will bring the right people into your life, people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to be better. But you have to be willing to let go of the ones who are holding you back. Eagles don't fear challenges. They don't back down when things get tough. They move with confidence, knowing that they were created to soar. You were not created to live in fear. You were not meant to stay small, to doubt yourself, to shrink back when challenges come. God has given you everything you need to rise higher, but you have to step into it. You have to stop letting fear hold you back. So many people miss out on their destiny because they let fear control them. Fear of failure, fear of what others will think, fear of stepping into the unknown. But the truth is, greatness is on the other side of fear. The life you've been praying for, the purpose God has placed inside of you, it's waiting for you. But you have to be bold enough to go after it. This is your time to rise higher. This is your time to stop living with limitations, to stop doubting yourself, and to start walking in the confidence God has given you. You are not a pigeon. You are not a sparrow. You are an eagle. You were made for more, and it's time to step into it. Let go of the things that are holding you down. Stop focusing on the past. Stop letting fear keep you stuck. Spread your wings. Trust that God will lift you higher. Keep your vision clear, stay strong, and soar into the destiny you were created for. Because when you live like an eagle, when you rise above the storms, when you focus on your purpose and refuse to let distractions hold you back, there is nothing that can stop you from reaching the incredible life God has planned for you. So often in life, we go searching for things outside of ourselves, validation, strength, confidence, direction, thinking that we need something external to make us whole, to make us successful, or to fulfill our purpose. But the truth is, everything you need is already inside you. God has already placed within you the gifts, the talents, the strength, and the wisdom you need to accomplish your destiny. You don't have to wait for the right circumstances. You don't have to depend on someone else to open doors for you. God has already equipped you with everything required to step into the life He has called you to. Before you were even born, God designed you with purpose. He didn't just put you on this earth randomly, hoping you'd figure things out. He created you with a specific assignment in mind. He placed inside you unique talents, passions, and abilities that are meant to help you fulfill that assignment. Think about an acorn. Inside that tiny seed is everything necessary to become a mighty oak tree. It doesn't need anything external to give it its identity. It doesn't have to go searching for strength. It just needs to be planted in the right environment and given time to grow. The same is true for you. The potential is already inside you. You just have to develop it, nurture it, and allow it to grow. One of the biggest reasons people never step into their greatness is that they're waiting for someone else to confirm it. They're waiting for someone to validate them, to say they're good enough, talented enough, worthy enough, but you don't need anyone's permission to be who God created you to be. If you spend your life waiting for approval, you'll never step into your destiny. You don't need a title to walk in your purpose. You don't need a platform to make a difference. You don't need a perfect plan to take the first step. Everything you need, the strength, the vision, the creativity, the resilience, it's already inside you. Life will challenge you. There will be moments when you feel unqualified, when obstacles seem too big, when fear tries to convince you that you don't have what it takes. But God wouldn't have given you the dream if He hadn't already placed inside you the ability to achieve it. You don't need to rely on external circumstances to determine your strength. It's not about who is supporting you, who believes in you, or what resources you have. Your strength is already within you. The same power that has carried you through past struggles, the same perseverance that has helped you overcome challenges, it's still inside you waiting to be activated. The greatest trick of the enemy is to make you believe that you are not enough. He wants you to look at your weaknesses, your mistakes, and your shortcomings and think that you're not qualified. He wants you to believe that you're missing something, that you don't have what it takes to succeed. But that is a lie. God never creates anything without purpose. He doesn't make mistakes. If He called you to something, that means He has already placed within you everything necessary to fulfill it. The enemy wants you to feel small, but God says you are more than a conqueror. The enemy wants you to feel unworthy, but God says you are chosen. The enemy wants you to feel like you're not enough, but God says you already have everything you need. Every single person has been given gifts. Some people are talented in leadership, some in creativity, some in speaking, some in problem solving. But too often, people never develop their gifts because they don't recognize what's inside them. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you're not talented enough. Maybe you think you're just average. But the gifts inside you weren't placed there by accident. You were meant to develop them, grow them, and use them to impact the world around you. A candle doesn't have to look for fire. It already contains the ability to shine. In the same way, you don't have to go searching for purpose. You already have it inside you. It's just waiting to be ignited. It's time to activate what's inside you. Many people live their entire lives never stepping into their full potential, not because they weren't capable, but because they never believed in what was already inside them. It's time to stop doubting yourself. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. It's time to stop looking for answers outside of yourself. When God has already placed them within you, you are not lacking. You are not missing anything. You are already equipped, already chosen, already prepared for the journey ahead. So today, make the decision to activate what's inside you. Step into your purpose with confidence. Walk in faith knowing that God has already placed everything you need within you. And when you do, you will see doors open, opportunities appear, and your destiny unfold in ways you never imagined. Because everything you need, it's already inside you. Now it's time to use it. No matter where you are in life right now, no matter what challenges you face, no matter how many setbacks you've experienced, I want you to know that your best days are still ahead of you. It's easy to look at your past and think that your best moments are behind you. Maybe you've accomplished great things and you feel like nothing will ever top them. Or maybe you've been through difficulties, disappointments, and heartaches that make it hard to believe that better days are coming. But the truth is, God never takes you backward. He is always leading you forward. What's in front of you is greater than what's behind you. The blessings, the opportunities, the favor, the joy, they're still ahead of you. The dreams God has placed in your heart, the purpose He has for your life, the breakthroughs you've been waiting for, they haven't passed you by. They are still in your future, waiting for the right time to unfold. One of the biggest lies the enemy will try to convince you of is that your past determines your future. That because you've made mistakes, because you've had setbacks, because things didn't work out the way you planned, your best days are over. But that is not true. God is not limited by your past. He is the God of new beginnings, of fresh starts, of restoration. You may have gone through seasons of struggle, but that doesn't mean your story is over. Your failures do not define you. Your disappointments are not the end. God has a way of taking the broken pieces of your life and using them to create something even more beautiful. The things that you thought disqualified you, the setbacks, the losses, the mistakes can actually be the very things that set you up for an incredible comeback. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He had a dream of greatness, but instead of stepping right into it, he was betrayed, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. For years, it looked like his best days were behind him. But what Joseph didn't see was that God was using every struggle to prepare him for his destiny. And when the time was right, Joseph stepped into a position of incredible influence and purpose. His best days weren't behind him, they were ahead. Sometimes people stop believing that their best days are ahead because they've settled where they are. They've gotten comfortable. They've accepted a mindset that says this is as good as it's going to get. But God didn't create you to live a life of mediocrity. He didn't bring you this far just to leave you here. He has more for you, more joy, more purpose, more opportunities, more blessings. But in order to step into your best days, you have to believe they are coming. You have to expect good things, prepare for new opportunities, and refuse to settle for anything less than God's best for your life. When you shift your mindset from I've already seen my best to my best is yet to come, you position yourself to receive what God has in store. To step into your best days, you have to move in faith. That means letting go of doubt, refusing to dwell on the past, and believing that God has something greater for you. It means taking action even when you don't see the full picture, trusting that He is leading you exactly where you need to go. When the Israelites were trapped at the Red Sea, they thought they were stuck. They saw the enemy behind them and an impossible obstacle in front of them. But what they didn't realize was that God was about to open a way where there was no way. Their best days weren't behind them back in Egypt. Their best days were ahead in the Promised Land. But they had to move forward in faith. Maybe you're facing obstacles in your life that seem impossible to overcome. Maybe you don't see a way forward. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean God isn't working behind the scenes. He is making a way. He is preparing opportunities. He is setting things in motion. Your job is to keep moving forward in faith. One of the hardest things to accept is that God's timing is different from our own. Sometimes we think, if my best days are ahead, why don't I see them yet? But just because you don't see them now doesn't mean they aren't coming. God is never late. He is always on time. Maybe you've been waiting for a breakthrough, praying for something to change, believing for a new opportunity, and maybe it feels like nothing is happening. But just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not coming. What God has prepared for you is worth the wait. When a seed is planted in the ground, it doesn't sprout overnight. It takes time to grow. The roots have to go deep before the tree can rise. In the same way, God is working in you, strengthening your character, deepening your faith, preparing you for what's ahead. Your best days will exceed your expectations. One thing about God is that He doesn't just meet expectations, He exceeds them. The blessings He has for you aren't just good enough. They are greater than anything you can imagine. Ephesians says God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. That means His plans for you are bigger than your dreams. His purpose for you is greater than what you've imagined. Your best days aren't just ahead of you. They're better than anything you've ever experienced. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been doubting whether things will ever get better, if you've been looking at your past thinking it was the best part of your life, it's time to shift your perspective. God is not finished with you. He has greater things in store. The blessings you haven't seen yet, the doors that haven't opened yet, the miracles you've been praying for, they are still ahead. Your best days are not behind you. Your best days are ahead of you. You may have had great moments in the past, but what's coming is even better. You may have faced struggles, but they are not the end of your story. The best chapters of your life are still being written. So today, choose to believe that God has more for you. Choose to walk in faith. Choose to expect good things. Because your best days are not a thing of the past. They are waiting for you in your future. And when the time is right, when God opens the doors, when the blessings come, you'll look back and realize that everything you went through, every challenge, every waiting season, it was all leading you to something greater than you ever imagined. Your best days are ahead. Get ready because God is about to take you higher than you ever dreamed. No matter what your past looks like, no matter what challenges you face, no matter how impossible your dreams may seem, your best days are still ahead. You were created with a purpose. You were designed to rise higher, to overcome obstacles, and to walk in the fullness of everything God has prepared for you. The distractions, the delays, the doubts, they are not strong enough to stop you unless you let them. Everything you need is already inside you. The strength, the wisdom, the creativity, the resilience, it's all there waiting to be activated. God has already placed within you everything required to step into the life He has called you to. But here's the key. You have to believe it. You have to choose to move forward, to keep your focus, to let go of fear, and to rise above the storms like an eagle. You can't allow past failures, present struggles, or future uncertainties to hold you back. God is always leading you forward, never backward. So today, make the decision to trust that greater things are coming. Make the choice to live with expectation, to step into new opportunities, to walk boldly in faith. Don't settle where you are. Keep growing, keep believing, keep soaring, because your story is not over. The best chapters have not been written yet. The breakthroughs, the blessings, the opportunities, the joy, the purpose, they are still ahead of you. Now is the time to step into your destiny. Now is the time to rise higher. Now is the time to embrace the incredible future that God has prepared just for you.